Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be talking about my thoughts for the upcoming school year on choosing our history curriculum. So I made a similar video about choosing our science curriculum, and I wanted to do one on history too, because science and history are really the subjects that I struggle with the most of like narrowing it down and choosing it. I just feel very indecisive on these two subjects. So I figured, well actually someone said, hey, you should probably just make a video on like all the curriculums you're thinking about using, why not, because it may help others. And I thought that that was a really great idea. So I'll link the science video down below if you haven't seen it yet. But today's video, I'm going to be specifically talking about history curriculum and which curriculums I'm thinking about, some details on those, and then I will also be in the coming weeks, so very soon, I'm going to be sharing just a general like how do I pick curriculum video. You're going to get some idea in this when I make certain comments, but I will tell you how do I actually decide on a curriculum. And then the first week of April are my curriculum pick videos coming out. So in that week, in those videos, I will be sharing what curriculum we've actually decided to use. All right, so let's talk about history. History has been an absolute whirlwind for us. I think it's extremely important. However, I feel like you really don't really care about history or appreciate it until you're older. Now, I'm speaking from personal experience. I do know there are kids out there that absolutely love history, and I'm hoping I can develop some of that into my own children, because I truly now as an adult am starting to really love history if it's presented in an engaging way. So to kind of share what we have used, our first year homeschooling, we tried using The Good and the Beautiful's Year 1 history, and I don't want to say it was a total flop, but it was pretty boring, to be point blank. I think I made a video on it a year or so ago, maybe, I don't know. But when I did, or I asked for feedback, a lot of people felt the same way. And to be honest, they're revamping their entire history series, so that kind of speaks to it. It was just a lot. And at that time, I was teaching a kindergartner and second grader, or almost first grader and almost third grader. So my kids were little, and I just think it was over their heads. It was over my head. I don't know. It just didn't work out. I did try to do an independent history with my fourth grader. We tried using Bookshark, and as much as I loved the books that Bookshark recommended for history, which we have used, the teacher's guide, as great as it is to plan out all your days, there was no way we could spend that much time specifically on history. Like, we were spending 3 hours on just history. I mean, it was a lot. So that didn't work for that reason, just for a time factor, and just it was way too much on our plates, on my plate. We just couldn't do it. So that was one we tried. Then most recently we did from Gather Round US History 1. It's like a mini unit, and honestly that was the only history that has worked for us so far, and we really liked it. So you're probably like, okay, well, it sounds like you know what history you like. As much as I liked it and I thought it was working good, my kids' retention of the information wasn't so great. So I mean, we finished that unit in November or early December, so only a few months ago, and they're like, it's like talking to walls. Like, we never even spent, it was 20 lessons on it. I'm like, you guys can't tell me anything? Like, what do you mean? So to me, that just kind of means that there was just the way that maybe it was being presented, maybe like kind of the worksheets afterwards, it just wasn't helping them retain the information. And history is, you know, a difficult subject. Most adults are still learning it. So it's not that I want to count that out altogether. That just may be something that we use when they're a little bit older. I think what's really important right now is getting the general story down. Like, what happened in history? I don't need specific dates, but I need a chronological story that you can comprehend and tell me like what has happened in our history. And we're talking, I'm so sorry, about American history specifically. I do think American history is a little bit easier to understand and start with, and so I am keeping my kids on American history. I do know that. So one decision I've completely made is we are going to do American history this upcoming year. We'll probably start switching into world history in the next coming years, but this upcoming year is American history, so I'll be clear on that is the type of curriculum I am looking for. I liked Gather Round, and my kids enjoyed it. Like, they actually didn't hate doing history. They enjoyed doing it. We worked through projects. It just, again, they were having a hard time retaining like what happened in history. So Gather Round is not off the table. I think it worked really well. It's definitely something I will look forward to in the future, or just maybe doing a random unit here and there. I just wanted to look at other things. So I was talking to one of my friends. She's also a YouTube mama. Her name is Nikki, and her channel is This Blessed Homeschool Mess. We talk all the time. If you saw our text messages, it's literally, what about this curriculum? What do you think about this? Like, just, it's a lot. And she's like, oh, what about Tuttle Twins? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I loved the Tuttle Twin like series books. I kind of forgot they had a history. So this is their history. It's America's history from 1215 to 1776. And I was like, you know what? My kids really enjoyed those books. So if this is anything like those books, they're going to actually have a really good time reading it and hopefully comprehend it. So when I got it, I don't know what I was expecting, but it's a storybook. It is a 200-page story. It is not set up like a textbook or like curriculum. You do get like extra things like this PDF download, some audio files and videos to supplement it more. And I'm not saying that I don't think the information in it is good, but it's not set up like a curriculum. It is a reading book. So this whole big book is a reading book. So that was just something that I was like, okay, I feel like I would have to supplement things in and plan if we end up using this in a curriculum way. But again, I could just do this super simple with my daughters. We could set time aside every day to read through it, do some add-on activities, and so that's definitely an option. I don't think I mentioned kind of things I struggle with deciding is, am I making this subject individual, meaning each of my kids are going to do their own grade level? Is it going to be an independent activity where they're doing it like on a computer, or is it something I need to teach? Or is it something we do together as a family that they're doing it at the same time? And again, do I have to teach it or is somebody else teaching it? So those are things that are always like floating in the back of my mind as well. You also have to know my kids already do their math and foreign languages on the computer. So I honestly don't really want any additional online things if I can help it, where that's like the main curriculum, because I feel like they're already spending a lot of time on screens doing math and foreign language. So another option is something I've been seeing a lot of, and I actually looked at this last year, but last year I just wasn't sure like what way we were going with history, and so it's not Grass history, and so this is America the Beautiful. This is kind of like their 5th grade and up until high school level. And so this is like on US history, and then this is our Star Spangled Story, which is like the elementary version of US history. So these are, you know, and I'm showing you one part of it. Oh, this is actually part 2, but it's big reading textbooks if you aren't familiar with it. And then they do come with like, you know, various activities. So there's like a timeline book, maps, student workbooks, there's answer keys. So because I chose to buy some of these curriculums, whether that means we're using it for next year or we're not, I am going to do like flip through and reviews, because I feel like that will help you guys as well. So I'm not getting super deep into it right now because I'm just kind of sharing some thoughts and ideas, but I will be doing individual videos on these curriculums themselves so you can see everything that's in them. So those will be coming too. Grass is written kind of that same way, where it's a story. your kids can read it, but then it is more like set up like a textbook. Like there's, you know, starting and stopping points, there's activities, there's reviews, and so I felt a little more comfortable when I saw that. But especially my older daughter, you know, there's a lot to it, and again, if I chose that path, I have seen people say you could combine a 3rd and 5th grader, but I was like, you know what, should I combine them or should I separate it? And I still haven't really made that decision yet, because I wanted to get my hands on them and kind of read through it. I don't want it to go over my 3rd grader's head, but I also don't want to hold my 5th grader back, if that makes sense. So it's like they're learning the same topics, but just more at individual levels. And for the most part, they could read to themselves and then, you know, complete their activities. So it could be, you know, pretty independent. So that was another option. And then kind of the last option I was kind of like going back and forth was really just piecing together my own unit study. I've been seeing these history pockets from Evan Moore, where, you know, there's like reading passages and then you do some like little fun activity cutout things to learn that. And so I was like, you know, I could put these in a chronological order and kind of just make our own like interactive notebook unit study on history. They're not American history, they're like on world history, but you know, I was like, that's definitely an option as well. But do I want to do that? Do I want to do a unit study? And then again, that would probably be something my kids do together. And so are they getting enough, you know, at their right age levels? So those are kind of, again, the ideas I'm having. So Tuttle Twins, Gather Round History, Knotgrass, Evan Moore, and just kind of piecing together our own unit study for history. So if you've used any of these, I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Leave them in the comments. I will be sharing soon my picks of what did I decide. Are we doing it together, separate, what curriculum, all of that. That will be coming soon. So I know this is kind of a weird video. I feel like I've never like not told you guys what I'm thinking or picking, but I think that this will be fun. Just because I pick a certain curriculum, I think all the curriculums I share today are great, and I think that you can make them all work, and that's why I chose them all, because I obviously find something good in all of them. It's just what's going to work best this year in our homeschool. So those will be coming out soon. I hope you guys liked this video. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button if you're not already, because I have tons of videos coming out, all curriculum, everything. If you like one of the curriculums I saw today and you want a flip through of that one first, leave that down below in the comments so I know which curriculum to prioritize when I make those videos. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. We will chat soon. Bye.